how we can transform those elements inside of us, thank you so much, to being elements of goodness and purity. Let's speak about Breaking Bad. You heard of that one before? Breaking Bad? It's about Breaking Bad right now. You have to break the bad midas. I'm sure that's what the show is all about, right? Breaking bad midas. B'ezrat Hashem, you can only hope. So we want to break the bad midas. Let's go to the part that says, Misha roitza leilach b'derech hakodesh. If somebody wants to go in a holy way, somebody wants to walk in this world in a holy way, which means he breaks his bad midas, his negative character traits, his bad character traits, the things that are holding him back, which we explained yesterday, which is the fires of taiva, the fires of kas, the mayim of taiva, of illicit things, the dvarim betelim of ruach, and the depression, the atzvus and the atzlus of ofar. All those four elements that make me, if I want to go in the holy way, sarach l'shaber kol hamidas rois. So I need to break those midas rois. I need to convert them, I need to transform them. And we're going to see the technology to do that is that we're going to say in front of the Talmud Chacham, the Vidui Dvarim, the Talmud Chacham, who we know is the Onav, the Chacham, is connected to Or Ein Sof, and then we're going to include ourselves in that infinite light. But in order to get there, as we'll see in a moment, you can't even get to the Talmud Chacham until you break the bad midas. But don't worry, there's 2 steps to get there. Wow. There's coffee, there's hope, like they say. Borado Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol neh b'dvaroi. Thank you. Yeah.
What is it?
We're in Ches.
I couldn't find any of the elements.
Misha roitza. Misha roitza. So somebody wants to go on the holy path. Sarach l'shaber kol amidas rois. You have to break the bad character traits. We spoke out the bad character traits yesterday, because the Rebbe just says them from Mishnas Hasidim. And then he quotes Taivas Rois, it's Tzoymeach, Dvarim Betelim. So it's right above that. And how do I break this? But let's understand that there's a journey in order to even get to the tzaddik. And that journey to get to the tzaddik is all found in the Chazal that we saw. That great story from the Talmud. Ve'atalmud chacham yefarish ve'yevar loy derech lefi shoyrish nishmosai. When I do the vidui devarim lifnei Talmud chacham, and I say over the things that I did wrong in front of the tzaddik, so he will then hear those words, and he will then explain to me the good path to go in. But we're going to see that there's actually 2 steps before you even get to the vidui. There's 2 steps before you get to the vidui. Now, what the Rebbe just said is that when you go to the Talmud Chacham for the vidui, which is step 3, so he's then going to explain to you according to your shorish neshama, according to your root soul, why you are here in this world, and what you're here to do. It's amazing, you get this all the time in Eshet Torah. Somebody walks in and they're like, I just need like a Kabbalist to just like tell me why I'm here.
That's the 3rd step.
Exactly. So they're not exactly off on that one. They're not exactly off on that one. There is, even though here it says the Talmud Chacham, so it doesn't have to be a Kabbalist per se. Has to be a Talmud Chacham, has to be a tzaddik. We're going to see that there's a technology in getting there. And I'd like to speak out a little bit, and then we'll see it inside the Torah. So, once you get to the tzaddik will then be able to explain to you according to your shorish neshama. But in order to make contact with the tzaddik, you need to refine your character traits. All the bad midas we were talking about yesterday, they need to have a zikuch. They need to be refined. What creates the bad character traits? All the averas. When a person's involved in avera activity, it starts to sully his character. It creates a darkening. It creates schmutz, which is Yiddish for schmutz. You know, many Yiddish words are exactly the way they sound.
You understand them, right?
That's right. So I need to get off the schmutz. Once I can get off the schmutz, I can then make contact that the tzaddik can then go to the shorish neshama and then explain for me what to do. So therefore, what do I need to do in order to first get there? I need to clean off the schmutz, and we're going to see that's going to happen in 2 steps. So the Rebbe now says, I think this should be maybe in bigger letters, V'yesh shalosh bechinos. There's 3 steps b'hiskarvus l'tzadikim, in getting close to tzadikim. She'al yidei shalosh bechinos elu nistakein hakol, the Rebbe says. Through going through these 3 steps, you could fix everything. That's pretty good. I want to fix everything. I'm here in this world to fix everything, to do all the work that I need to do. Sometimes you get these moments, you're just late at night by the kois, you're like, Hashem, I just want to fix everything. Yeah, good. Here's the technology. He's not leaving us bereft without guidance. Reb Nachman came to the world to give us prescriptions. He said, I'm the große doctor. This is not medical advice. Even though he's giving you... That's right. So what are these 3 steps? Ve'elu hem hashalosh bechinos. He's going to walk us through them. Now, oftentimes when it comes to prescriptions from tzaddikim, you don't always chop it right away. You're like, that's interesting. I wouldn't have seen that coming. That's usually the point, because he's the tzaddik and you're not. The doctor knows something generally more than you, and therefore is able to, I wouldn't have known that. Yeah, that's the point. That's why you went to him. So Reb Nachman says, I'm the große doctor, the big doctor. So these are interesting 3 steps. Even the Vidui Dvarim, which is the 3rd step, and that itself is a question of the Torah, why the Rebbe went to the 3rd step as the theme, seemingly before the other 2. But now we're going to start the sequence of the 3 steps, and then we're going to show you that all these 3 steps are found in that Maimer Chazal of Soita Chof Aleph Amud Aleph. That Maimer Chazal was really speaking about the technology of these 3 steps in order to fix everything. So already, I'm sure you could, bless you, you could see, like go back to the Chazal. Moshel le'echad, one person, shayim mahalach baderach, be'ishan laila va'afela. You could already see there's like a lostness. This character, the character of our story, he's out at night, he's lost, it's dark, he's afraid, he's anxious. What is he anxious from? Koitzim, Pachosim, Chayira, Listim, and he doesn't know where to go. And then all of a sudden, like, Tikkun begins, right? If you stop the story there, I mean, it's interesting. When the Rebbe quotes it, he stops the Chazal where everything is bit yeushi. And then the V'chule includes all the tikkunim. So the shift in the Gemara is by the V'chule. The next word in the Gemara is v'nizdamen lo yavuka shel or. All of a sudden he gets a torch. And then the sun starts coming up. And then he gets to the Parshas Drachim. These are all the 3 tikkunim. So we're going to see that all of the problems inside this Chazal are the bad midas, and the feeling of lostness, and the anxieties of being in this world, coming down into this world. And all the tikkunim are what we're about to say. Yeah, Gabriel.
What is Ishon? Like I also see it when we say Ishon.
Dark.
Ayin.
In the darkness.
What's Bat Ayin? Like when we say it in
Bat Ayin is the pupil of your eyeball.
I asked this yesterday. Just a quick question. I know that the Nachman told us about the 4, what would we call them, and elements.
He's really quoting from earlier sources, the Mishnah's Chassidim, and Reb Chaim Vital, and the Arizal.
And then there are different midos, both good and bad, associated with it.
Correct.
Does he ever give us, I guess, a formula on if one has, this, the area of Earth where
It's a doctor speaking. You want a diagnosis and a prescription.
Yeah, and then how to maybe use the other element to like bring that one up and fix that one.
So there are sources that go through that, like the Mishnah's Chassidim, and they describe the qualities of each of the element, and therefore this is a big thing in Chinese medicine, is that if you're too hot, so be careful of having more hot things. Hot, dry, which is eish, or hot, moist. Be very careful of these things. Or dry, cold, or dry, wet. Dry, wet, cold. So then you'd want to have more of a drier element to dry up the wetness if you're overly clammy or wet. So yes, these things are spoken about. The Rebbe doesn't specifically go into that balancing, but he is about to bring the prescription on how to fix those midas rois. So maybe if we can understand what the prescription is, then you could read in to the chart and see, well, if this is the prescription for taiva, and we said taiva is coming from mayim, which is wet and cold. So if there's something that could be fixed, what he says from taiva, then that's a balancing of wet and cold energy. Well, what's the prescription then? So let's see if we can go that direction. Because he hasn't said the 3. He said the 3rd thing is the vidui devar. But what about the first 2? You ready for the first bechina? That's what starts a new section here. Okay, this is the prescription, Rabbi said. Not medical advice, but soul advice. This is 100% unadulterated soul advice. Habechina harishona, the first element of fixing. And the Rebbe said, I'm just underlining this in my Likutei Moharan. V'nistaken hakol. Through this, you can fix everything. Hakol. Bakol mikol kol. Hakol. Everything. The Bechina Rishona, the first one, Kisharoya es atzadik. By seeing a tzaddik. That's already a tikkun. Now you guys know what we do on Friday night.
Yeah, maybe
On the way home from shul.
I understand a little more.
There's something about seeing tzaddikim.
An example?
By the way, there were people, stories of people. There was one time a story, it was a young girl, she was on her father's shoulders. And it was a time where the Chafetz Chaim made a big kenis, and the Chafetz Chaim was speaking, like a gathering. And she said that she was able, because she was a bit higher up, she got a glimpse of the face of the Chafetz Chaim when she was a little girl. And just seeing his face that one time gave her chizik the rest of her life. That she one time, I still have chizik from seeing Rav Elyashiv's face, Rav Chaim's face, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Rav Elyashiv. Just seeing them is big. It's very big. Very, very big. We're going to see it's actually found in Chazal in a number of places, this idea as well. First, it's found in a pasuk in Isaiah 30. Usually, this is put on these big giant posters when the tzaddikim are coming to town. And it will be that your eyes will behold royos es moirecha. They will see your master. When you buy like a Rebbe Ovadia Yosef poster, usually says V'hayu einecha ro'ot et morecha. Like, let your eyes behold your teacher. Yeah, Yitzchak.
You said there were 2 steps, and yet the first one fixes everything.
The 3 steps fix everything. All 3 together.
How do you do the third one without the first one anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Because
We're going in order.
doing Rito, you would see it, you would go to it. I thought you would
Yeah, very good. We're going in order.
So you go to him, then you do it, so it's the middle one.
We're going in. Well, let's see. First, we're still on the first one. There's something about seeing the tzaddik that is exceptionally powerful in this case. And it's fascinating because the Gemara in Eruvin speaks out the following story. It says like this. Rebbe said the following. Hi de mechadina mechavrai. Rebbe says, the Gemara in Eruvin, he says, this that I am sharper, it almost sounds like smarter, mechaveirai, from my chevre. Rebbe's giving a tam. So you want to know why I advanced more in my studies than my colleagues? That's interesting. Rebbe's telling you something. I'm reading you, you don't have that in the text. Do you know why I advanced more than my colleagues? Says the Gemara. Techazina leRebbi Meir, that I saw Rebbi Meir, student of Rebbi Akiva, Rebbi Meir Bal Hanes, me'achoreya. I saw the back of his head one time. Ve'ilu chazise mekame, and if I would have seen the front of his face, I would have been even greater. I would have been head and shoulders above everybody. I was already above everybody. I would have been way above everybody. Dichsiv, like the pasuk says, V'hayu einecha royos es moirecha. It's mamish a Gemara in Eruvin. It's something happened to me by seeing the tzaddik. It changed me. It's a Gemara. It's not Kabbalah. It's a Gemara in Eruvin. And look it up. Yud Gimel Amud Beis. Something happened to me. So Rebbe was still small, and he was able, it says, to get, the little kids can usually get like close. So he was able to get into one of the lines behind Rebbe Meir. But if he was able to be in front of Rebbe Meir and see his face, it said he would have been even greater. So we have a Gemara about this. So Nachman is not being mechadesh something, seemingly, that there's something big about seeing the face of a tzaddik. It's a Mefurish Gemara. And it sounds from the Gemara that what does seeing the face of the tzaddik give you? Chochmah. Because that's what he said. He didn't say, because I saw the face of the tzaddik, so I became a really great basketball player. or I became very wealthy. He said, I saw the face of the tzaddik, and then I became smarter. I eclipsed my peers in learning. I received from the chachma of my Rebbe by seeing his face. So we're going to see that Reb Nachman is going to be speaking about seeing the face of the tzaddik as an idea of his karvus and his kashrus, that there's a connection point through coming and seeing. It's interesting, in Chazal, we know there's a halacha that the Gemara brings down that on Yom Tov, Rosh Chodesh also, you should be mekabel pnei rabbi. It's a halacha. You should go to see your Rebbe, right? Kabbalas panim. You should go to see your Rebbe. So the Sfarim HaKadoshim all point out the lashon of being mekabel pnei rabbi, like Kabbalas panim. You know, like the Rosh Hashanah is having Kabbalas panim. But in Kabbalah, they usually go into the words very specifically. Be mekabel pnei rabbi. Doesn't just mean to greet your Rebbe. It means to mekabel, receive pnei, the face of Rabbo. Literally, your Rebbe's face is going on to you. You're receiving the shine, the light.
Especially on those days.
Especially on those days. That's exactly it. Shabbos also, there's such a thing. But Yom Tov for sure. And Rosh Chodesh, to mekabel pnei rabbi. To receive, literally to receive the face of the Rebbe. To receive that shine. Be mekabel pnei rabbi. Now, I don't want to do too much spoiler here, but the Rebbe is going to give the most unbelievable connection to this, is that he's going to bring, and you'll notice a lot of times in Likutei Moharan, the Rebbe will bring things that are so relatable that everybody experiences, and then he uses that to explain more esoteric ideas. It's a very common thing in Likutei Moharan, like basic things that we all do, we all know. Jumping up and down, clapping your hands. How, remember Torah Zayin, how compassion, how you would feed a child. You don't feed them steak, you feed them, things that are very relatable. He's about to bring another example, such a good analogy, where he says, and we'll get there in a second, that what happens when a kid, a baby, and they're playing with all sorts of shtuyot and narishkeit. You know, what do kids play with? Whatever, some little trinket. Yeah, maybe a plastic cup that, you know, your 8-month-old got a hold of and is just like, you know, crinkling it and squishing it, and mom is just into it. And if the big brother took that cup away, whoa, this thing is, it's like, yeah, squish the cup, and it makes sound, and it's geschmack, right? It's so into it. But what happens the second that the mama walks into the room? You think the kid is interested in that cup anymore? It throws the cup and runs to the mother. All of the narishkeit that it's involved in, it sees the mother and just goes right to the mother. So the Rebbe is going to explain is that what is that? What is that? What's the cup? The cup is the narishkeit.
Mother gave him the cup.
What's the mother? The mother is the source of this child. When a child is connecting to its source, all the narishkeit has no place in its life. It throws the cup away and runs to the mother. It sees the face of the mother and immediately is returning to its source. So too, Rabbi Isai, when we see the face of the tzaddik, we throw away our narishkeit because we're coming back to source. we see that the face of the tzaddik represents a connection to source, so we throw away our narishkeit. That's the inner oimik of what it means hiskashus to the tzaddikim. It's an awareness of coming back to a source like a child going to the mother. What a nifla marshal, nifla Rabbi Isai. It's something that you see, but like Rabbeinu pulls you in to just observe the world around you, and you'll understand so much of Torah. Yes, Aaron.
I just wanted to add, I recently learned in Rosh Hashanah, actually, it was going through a sugya of why Rabbi Gamliel was able to have a form of the moon on the block that he would show to Adam coming and testify, and it went into can you draw the face of a person? And there was an idea in there that you can't draw the face of a person. Why? Because Hashem says, don't draw me, don't draw my face. And this, I can't think of like the face of a tzaddik, meaning that is like a revelation of, I guess, Hashem's face.
Very much so. We're going to see later, once you get into the Zohar, forget about it. The Zohar talks a lot about, I'll give you one of them. It says in the Zohar that the mitzvah of Re'iyah is a mitzvah of Re'iyah, of Aliyah L'Regel. Aliyah L'Regel means that all of us, Yeroya Kol Zechurcha, Sholosh Pa'am B'Shana, 3 times out of the year, all of us have a mitzvah of coming to Jerusalem and being here mamish, and coming to the Beis HaMikdash for Aliyah L'Regel, to go up for the festival. What is the mitzvah? It's called Re'iyah. So the Gemara in Chagiga and Tosfos and Rashi, they're all dealing with this. Oh, Chagiga. So Aliyah L'Regel, the mitzvah of Re'iyah, it says, Yeroya Kol Zechurcha es Penei Ha'odon Hashem. All of you should go up to see your master, Hashem. In other words, the Gemara says, you're supposed to go to the Beis HaMikdash to behold the Shekhinah. During the Regel, Hashem reveals in an even more powerful way. You're supposed to go and see. It says more. The mitzvah Re'iyah is both lirois v'leherois, is to go and see and be seen. You go and see, so to speak, the Shekhinah, and then you let Hashem see you. And that's why it says, don't come rekam. Don't come without any, simple meaning is don't come without your korbanos. But the deeper meaning is don't come empty. But you're going to come into Shavuos, you don't even have any sugyas to show for yourself. You haven't been mamish steiging it up. You're just like showing up like, here I am, Where you been? You come empty-handed without any Torah. So that's the deeper meaning. Don't show up to the Yom Tov that you didn't prepare for the Yom Tov. So the Zohar says, the mitzvah of Re'iyah is Yeroya Kol Zechurcha es Pnei Adon Hashem. You shall all go up and see the Shekhinah, your master. Says the Zohar, where can you see that? Dahi Rashbi. This is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. When you look at the face of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Shekhinah is shining upon it. We also see this in the Torah itself. That Moshe Rabbeinu.
Made me think of when he saw the back of Hashem's head. I'm assuming that even him at such a high level would have done something to him.
Very much so.
Definitely.
Very much so. It's how the back of the tefillin.
He had a glove, right?
Moshe Rabbeinu had to put on a mask.
We learned that last in Zion.
Mamish.
How can we see the Rashbi's face?
By learning his Torah.
Sunglasses.
Right now, sort of Mercado, Big Nachman's face.
Oh, very good.
So
And we'll see that it means also, remember we saw earlier, that it's Moshe Rabbeinu in every generation. We know that there's 5 Yechidei HaSegula, that are reincarnations. Moshe Rabbeinu was reincarnated into Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, was reincarnated into the Ari HaKadosh, was reincarnated into the Baal Shem, was reincarnated into Rabbeinu. who's reincarnated into all the tzaddikei adairas. And therefore, when you go and see your Makabel Pnei Rabbi, you're receiving that or. You're receiving that or. So this is the first step. Now, what does this do? Remember, this is a prescription. It's 3 steps. And we explained that these 3 steps are all found in the Gemara in Soita. So the Rebbe brought the mashal of the Gemara in Soita, and let's see how that's going to mevatel the bad midas. So he's now going to explain and dissect the Maimer Chazal. V'zoi sabachina, and this idea of going to be makabel the Pnei Rabbi, of v'hayu einecha royes es moirecha, is mevatelis hamidas rois. Starts to cancel out bad midas. Now, one of the things we already explained, the Rebbe is going to speak about this, is like the baby seeing the mother. Immediately the baby, whatever its midas are, playing with some narishkeit, the cup. So our bad midas are also narishkeit. What does narishkeit mean? Nar.
Just for not
What's a nar? A kid. A nar.
Oh, lad.
A lad. Very good. A nar is a lad. So narishkeit means like stuff that like is like little kids like playing with that little cup and being really into it. So, is the world going to end if you don't have that cup? No, but in the eyes of the kid it will. But even in the eyes of the kid, that its world will end if the cup is gone. His big sister takes the cup. As soon as the child sees the mother, it throws away its narishkeit immediately. It's like, what happened to your cup? That was the biggest thing for you. The mama came. I'm mekabel my shoirish. I'm coming to where I come. I'm see where I come from. So if that's the case with us, our narishkeit is our midas rois. What are you involved in such Breaking Bad episodes? Why are you so into it? It's narishkeit. When you see the Pnei Tzaddik, all of a sudden you start throwing away your own narishkeit. So let's see what the Rebbe says here. And he's actually going to start defining which of the midas rois this corresponds to. So this will be some of the formula. So you should chart all of this. Nimshachem mishnei yisoidus, and you're able, through b'mekabel pnei tzaddik, you're able to break the 2 negative elements of doimim and soimeach. So doimim is the mineral element. Soimeach is plant life. Which of the bad midas corresponds to mineral?
Gaiva.
No, mineral life doesn't do anything.
Oh, mineral. I always
Not
said
life
that's
at
like
all.
sticky.
Yeah. Afar, yeah. What is that? But what bad midas does that correspond?
Depression.
Yeah, atzvus. The hainu atzvus. Hey, look at it. I'm moving. Atzvus. V'tolda yiseya. And everything that comes out of, looks like atzvut is the av, and tolda yiseya means all the other things that come out of depression. And that one was, of course, the more shchayr, the black. V'taivus rois. And bad taivus. And of course, that's from soimeach. Very good. Very good mayim. So you would go into those elements, and it looks like it's going to break both of them. And then what you do, Aaron, you'd see, what are the imbalances of afar, which is dry, cold, and mayim, wet, cold. And you would say, well, what is now getting rebalanced by seeing the tzaddik? Must be something warm. There has to be something, you go that direction. Because here the Rebbe says that that's going to cancel out both of these. The Riyas Pnei Tzaddik will work on both doimim and soimeach. That's very, very big. Was that two hands raised?
No.
Or just like a diamond?
Yeah.
So now the Rebbe brings the mashal we explained. Ki tzaddik ador nikra aim oy tate. The tzaddik of the generation is called a mother. It's called a mother. Chazal call a tzaddik an aim. An aim, like a mother. Tzaddik is like the mother of the generation. Al Shem. Why? Al Shem. Shehu Meinik li Yisrael. Wow. Meinik means to nurse. The tzaddik is literally nursing forth Ba'or Teirosai. We're drawing forth. By the way, that's why the Medrash says that in a very deep way that Mordechai HaTzadik, when he adopted Esther, so the Medrash says that he grew the mechanism to nurse Esther. So that's already more Medrash, it's not literal. But what do we learn from that? Is that this is the idea of the aim. That Mordechai Tzaddik was the aim. He was the tzaddik of the entire generation in the time of the Purim story. And therefore he was nursing, he was giving life. What does it mean to nurse? It's literally life. You're growing a human being. And everything depends on the mama. So the tzaddik is nursing, is giving forth Torah that we are, if we could see with spiritual eyes, that we are growing through the Torah of the tzaddik. So the tzaddik is like the aim. And what's the Torah called? Ve'at-Torah nikres chalav. And the Torah is called milk. It's very apropos that we're seeing this right before Shavuos. It's also called honey. That's Kabbalah. The Torah is called milchiks. By the way, we know the Rebbe said this Torah on Shavuos. This Torah is a Shavuos Torah. That's also why we're learning this Torah now. The Torah says manis. A coincidence.
Just like when one, not even as a kid, as an adult, like thinks of their mother, you think of, I gotta be on my best behavior, and you get this certain physic to be, kind of step into, live up to your potential. So too, I imagine the Rosh Yeshivas near me. Oh my, it's like all the shtus is gone, and it's just like.
That's it. You see.
Mom is amazing.
That's it. You see the analogy is sinking in. You see it. So the Torah is called chalav. Kamosha kosav dvash uch vechalav tachas l'shoinech. That milk and honey should be underneath your tongue, which is talking about the Torah, because the tzaddik is literally giving forth life from the Torah. And then the Rebbe quotes the analogy that we said, V'zeh anu roim b'chush, and you see this mamish in real time. Kishe'atina ku be'atzvus, ve'atzlus. The tinuk, let's say, is sad. It's going through bad midas. It's sad. It's down. It's lonely. Kisheroyas imoy, look at your kid. The baby is sad. The second it sees the mother, hunis oirel, it gets awakened immediately. Bezrizis godel likrois imoy. It's immediately. Why? Hainu l'sharashoy, because it feels this is my source. This is where I come from. And there was an immediate awakening, all of the bad midas. So you and I, the same thing to the tzaddik. The tzaddik is called the aim. We just showed that from Chazal. And the tzaddik is giving forth the Torah, which is the chalav. And then when I go and be mekabel pnei rabbi, when I see the tzaddik, what it should arouse within me is a throwing away, a jettisoning all the bad midas. and immediately just, I'm coming back to my shayrish. Mimakabel Pnei Rabbi. I throw away the stuff I don't need. Gam anu roim b'chush. The Rebbe brings it, says two shlavim. One is just when the child is down, and then when the child is playing with some shtus. It's interesting the Rebbe made this two different things. Gam anu roim b'chush k'she'atinoik oiz b'divrei shtus shaloi. Playing with that plastic cup we were talking about. Afal pi sheyesh l'taiva good. So funny the Rebbe. Even though this kid is a taiva gedoyla to play with that plastic cup, taiva gedoyla, meaning it's such a taiva that if any of the kids come and like, this is my cup. It's a taiva gedoyla, mamish. It's like a guy with his phone watching Netflix, like don't bother me. It's a taiva gedoyla. Still, afal pi kasherayas imay, when he sees his mama, who mashlir kol tavoyusav acha kasei, just like chucks it. Umoishech es atzma, and he just like, mommy, just runs to mama. Nimtza kashinis batlin amidas rois al shnei hayesoidis, and through this, you see, look at this. That's why they're divided into two. Seeing the mother is mavatal both of those midas. First, if a baby's not playing with anything, it's just sad, and it sees its mother, it's immediately happy. The Rebbe is explaining through this mashal, it fixes both of the bad midas. Just a sad kid sees the mother, look at the child's face, immediately happy. So that's doimim, that's the sad, afar, depression, done. And then, when the child has some taiva g'doyla with its plastic cup, that's the tzaymeach. That's the taivas. That's the mayim. Immediately, just throws the taiva away. So you and I, when we have atzvus lo aleinu in the Mor Shchora, we're like going to our aim. Immediately, there should be a feeling of like, so too the taivas. To mashla klachet kasef of just throwing it over our shoulders. Al de staklis pnei tzadik. And then the Rebbe is going to explain that this is what it means to get over the misyara min hakoitzim. This, that the person was walking at night and he was afraid of all the thorns, so that's the tzoymeach, because those are tzoymeach. And this that Chazal said, he was afraid of the pechosim, these ditches in the earth. Of course, which element is that? That's the afar. He's telling you he was afraid of these two things. He was struggling with koitzim, and he was struggling with earth elements. He's good now. Those are ditches in the earth. That's afar. And how does he do that? He gets an avuka shel or. He gets the torch of light. Of course, who is that? That's the tzaddik. Seeing the tzaddik is the torch of light. Ze Talmud Chacham shu avuk be'or haTorah. That's the Talmud Chacham that's connected, and therefore he's going to be saved from the midas rois of doimim and soimeach. And oz nitzol min hakoitzim min hapechosim. So Rabbi said we're up to the second bechina. He gave us the first part of the prescription. May Hashem mamish bless us. We should mamish be zoichem, to connect to the mameh, to get out of all the atzlus, which is the boirus, the things that a pit, which is also, that's the pit, you fall into the pit, is atzlus. Atzlus, I'm stuck, I can't get, and the koitzim. It's interesting, the koitzim is the taivas, they like poke you, stab you, inject.
Draw you in.
They, koitzim, How do you get over that? They're both from the Re'iyas Pnei Tzadik. May Hashem Mamish bless us. That this Shavuos, we should have the great merit of Mamish seeing the face of the Tzadik. Mashiach Tzidkeinu b'mheira b'yamin amin v'yamin. Awasheinu matov hageh. Omanayim go aleinu. Oh, Yashem. אבשנו מתוק שזכין לקרב לרבנו אבשנו מתוק היי שזכין לקרב לרבנו la 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 la